President Obama and his team having some problems with national security, but there's a solution for DHS, Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Napolitano to resign. Here's John Fund, columnist for the Wall Street Journal. John, what about it? You know, I look at her picture and I see it, and she comes out and says everything went perfectly on Sunday. On Monday, she backtracks and said, boy, no Department of Homeland Security Secretary would say anything went right on this. Do we have any confidence in this woman?
She's the cabinet officer from disaster. From the word go, here's what she's done. The word terrorism was taken out of the government's vocabulary. It became a man-made disaster. Then we had the infamous lists of the militia members. And what we really had to worry about is these pro-life, pro-gun people who were going to be dangers, you know, racists running around the country. There are a couple hundred of them at most. They're not a real threat. Then we moved to what you mentioned. She basically dismissed it and said the system was working. And throughout all of this, there has been a nonchalance. And then the Obama administration enters into this. You know, Yemen. We have known that Yemen was the new front for al-Qaeda for over a year. Instead, we're still focused on the old war, which is Afghanistan. Of course we have to be worried about that. But the Obama administration couldn't tell us that al-Qaeda was now using Yemen as a base. Why? Because 90 of the Gitmo detainees were going to be transferred there. Now, luckily, that plan is now off the boards. But can you imagine ignoring Yemen for political correct reasons because you had to close Guantanamo? This is allowing politics to interfere with legitimate national security.
So what do? Do we reopen Gitmo? Does the
Reset
Gitmo
button.
stay open? Yeah, go ahead.
We've got to start the reset button. We got to go back and say, look, we've had 3 warnings. We had the guy in Little Rock who killed someone. We had the Fort Hood killings. And we had all kinds of warnings. Now there were warning bells, flashing red lights everywhere about this guy boarding the plane in Amsterdam. We ignored those. 3 strikes.
Yeah.
We were lucky this last time. The next one, we won't be so lucky. We have got to end political correctness, as Andrew says, and we have got to move towards a national security model.